class, and welcome to week 3 of ECS 111, administration number 1, which is directing and administrating early care and education programs. So I'm happy to say that everyone has been posting and responding in our discussion board and reviewing our assignments. So I'm really happy about that. By now you should be very comfortable, or I would say moderately comfortable, with how the course flows. So I hope that you can tell I'm pretty consistent with sending out the announcements. Sometimes I send them out before I'm supposed to, which I think I did in this class today because I'm prepping it and still new to Canvas. So let's go ahead and look at what we're doing for week 3. So on your screen, I'm going to go ahead and click on modules. And what you will notice is that, hopefully, your Start Here orientation may still be open. So I don't know if I told you, but you can close it by clicking on the down arrow. And so I kind of like to keep things neat and tidy or I get all confused. So we're in our second week of Module 1. Just to remind you, if you're getting a little lost, you can always go back to the Module 1 overview. That kind of gives you an overview of the module itself and what we're working on. And I love that chair. I want a chair like that. So now we're working into week 3. So we're down here. So let's take a peek at our week 3 instructions. So what you're going to notice is that we're going to work on chapter 2, which is assessing community need and establishing a program. So I've got a chapter 2 objective for you to check out. There's also a PowerPoint related to chapter 2 in your textbook. And then I have a bunch of web links again for you in the chapter to check out. And then also you want to review the study guide, and I actually ask that you save it because we will be having a quiz at the end of the module. So our discussion board this week is also open. So the posts are due on Thursday. So we always want everyone to log in and post. So it'll be Thursday the 7th by midnight, and then you're going to log back in after Thursday and respond to 2 to 3 classmates, and that's no later than midnight on Sunday, September 10th. So please also know that it is your responsibility as an online student to go back and read everyone's posts and responses, because that's really where the learning content and the learning process happens. It replaces our activities and discussion and lecture in a classroom format, so you're going to want to go back at some point before Sunday and read everybody's information. And then also now it should be about time for you to actually interview a director of a licensed child care facility. So you're going to want to do that. So let's take a peek at, I think this might, yeah, there we go. So here's our chapter 2 link. Here are your objectives. So at the end of this chapter, you should be able to understand the purpose of licensing and what that means. Also, you should be able to identify the steps in the licensing process, understand various types of regulations and their purposes, understand the differences between licensing a child care program and getting accredited. And our accrediting body is the National Association for the Education of Young Children. Also, recognize the various levels of individual credentials available for staff in a child care and education center. So, PowerPoint is available here. You can double click on that, or remember you also can just open up the window and hopefully our PowerPoint will present itself. It's kind of like magic. Here it comes. Yay! Also, I have several links for you. These are different types of childcare programs and also research-based websites if you're going to license a center. And then here is your study guide. So you're going to review that. And then that would lead us to our next activity in the chapter. Actually, the discussion board's not going to post or open until very early Sunday morning, so no, that link will be there. But we're going to also take a little peek at our director interview. So I am going to be launching, I know I have written instructions, I am going to launch actual instructions by video that are associated with Canvas. So my past videos are Blackboard, and that really doesn't work. So stay tuned, that will be coming. But you can see here that you can review the assignment itself. So it talks about how the purpose of the assignment is to analyze administration skills and components required for the position of the director. This meets our student learning outcome of the course, number 1. that you're actually going to have to prepare before you go interview a director. So I want to make sure you read chapters 1 through 3 of the textbook and also participate in the group discussions. 1, 2, and 3 would be ideal, because you really need to be able to develop 10 good questions to ask your director for the interview process. So once you put together 10 good questions, then you're going to set up an appointment to meet with a qualified director. They have to be of a licensed childcare facility, and you're going to conduct a face-to-face interview. So I don't want interviews by email. I don't want interviews over the phone. I really want you to have time to meet with that person, because I think it really says a lot for your perspective taking when you see all the things that are happening just during that interview time. You'll see that directors are very busy people. So then after the interview, I'm going to ask that you reflect on the director's responses, and you're going to write a paper that details the skills and components that are required to be a director in our community or in the community that you live. So materials are listed right here. I do require that your paper be in APA format, which is a citation process for to be able to give credit to the sources that you use. So one of your sources is definitely going to be your textbook. You may have others. Minimally, I'm going to want you to connect what you learned from the interview to the information you're learning in class. So here again, for preparation, it's reading those chapters of the textbook, participating in the group discussions, and then identifying the director of a licensed childcare facility. So before you go out, just don't show up unannounced, because like I said, they're very busy people. Childcare centers are protected places. You do need to have a purpose to be there. And in some cases, they won't even allow you to enter without that purpose identified. So you're going to want to call in advance, explain to them that you're an Allen Hancock College student, you're enrolled in my class, ECS 111, and you like to know if they would be interested in doing an interview with you. When you go to the site, you need to print a copy of your syllabus, a copy of the assignment that you're doing, and take a valid photo ID. I prefer your current Allen Hancock College ID. Know that programs are aware that this is our practice, at least if you're local, and that they may not allow your entrance if you don't have those 3 items. So what I do ask is please, please, please do not be a no-show. Busy people, directors are so busy, and if you just don't show up, it reflects poorly on you in the profession, as well as myself and our college. So I want to make sure that you have to reschedule, call and let them know. If you can't come or you need to go with another person, another choice, then you're going to let them know. So please respect their time. They are such busy people. So the interview questions, you have to have a minimum of 10 of them. And I'm asking that each question be on a certain topic. So the topics are listed here. You can see one is administrative style and role. I want a question on what personality qualities help them in their role as director, what curriculum models they use, what is their leadership style. And the interesting thing about this question is some directors don't even know what that is. So you might want to say, you know, what's your belief on how you lead people or how you supervise folks that are working for you? Ask them how they resolve conflict in their program. And what's really important is what is the mission and values of the program that they're working in? What type of program is it? What's the organizational structure? How do they do family involvement? And lastly, education and professional work experience of the director. So what is their background? What makes them qualified to do what they do? So you're going to go ahead and develop those questions. You will be submitting a typed list of questions with your final assignment, so take some time to type those up. So after you conduct the interview, I want you to reflect on what you learned. And remember, if you're going to tape that person, you need to ask them in advance. And some directors may not want to be on tape. They may not want to have you tape their conversation. So be prepared to take notes. You might want to bring several sheets of paper, a pencil or pen, or be able to type on a laptop if that's okay with them. So what I'm going to ask you to reflect on is consider, what did you learn about being a director? That's question number 1. I also want you to reflect on how did what you learn in the interview process coincide with other course content? So based on your discussion boards and the textbook, how did it relate or coincide, connect? How was your interview process? What did you like about it? What did you not like about it? If you were the director, is there anything you would do differently? And then lastly is, what are 2 takeaway lessons you would use in the future as a director? So basically each one of these questions is a nice paragraph, and I would have you consider putting a citation or a connection to coursework textbook, discussion boards, and each one of those paragraphs. So when I say here, submit an APA typed format paper, what you would have to have is a title page, and you also would have to have in-text referencing and then a reference page. So many of you are familiar with MLA and Works Cited, but in APA we do references. So I think I'm going to go ahead and add to the module an APA kind of a guidance. So there also is a grading rubric associated with the director interview, and I'm going to load that for you as well, so make sure you take a peek at that. Okay, so that's our week 3 instructions. I hope you find them helpful. If you have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to email me. I am here for you. So you can reach me at tropke@hancockcollege.edu. Have a great week.